Hey everybody, we are talking indie agency news preferred partners. These are folks that completely get what you're going through as an independent agency. So let's talk about contracts. Without the right language in your service agreements or statements of work, you're leaving the door open to, oh boy, scope creep, payment disputes, and excessive IP risks, among other things. Matchstick Legal, one of our preferred partners, offers a free report card analysis where they review and rate your MSA and SOW against more than 50 criteria. Find out if you're getting an A+ or need improvement at matchstick.legal and see all of our partners at indieagency.partners.
All right, and welcome to Meet an Indie Agency. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle O'Brien, Managing Editor of Indie Agency News. Today, we're talking sports, well, at least sports advertising. And we're talking to Good Sports and Josh Bogdan. Thank you for joining us from beautiful Portland, Oregon, right?
That's where I am. Thank you, Kyle. Good to be here.
Great to have you, and thank you for being a member and supporting us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. I'm gonna imagine your answer is sports, but tell me what your agency is best known for. Maybe elaborate a little more than sports.
How could you tell? So we are a creative agency, and we do specialize in sports. So we make brand campaigns for teams, leagues, and any brand that is playing in sports culture, whether that means a sponsorship for an event like World Cup, or the Olympics, or the Final Four, or when a brand brings on an athlete as a sponsor.
Well, obviously, you know, sports advertising is getting bigger and bigger every year, especially with the rise of women's sports. So you kind of hit this at the right time. Well, you've been open, a little over a year?
Exactly right. We had our first birthday about a month ago in October.
Congratulations.
2024.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, what are the top 3 core strengths of Good Sports?
Well, we really do frame this question around the reasons that we chose to specialize in sports. So the first one is that we speak sport. We are able to find that intersection between sports culture and brands in order to craft messages that resonate, that actually matter to people. And that stems from just our extensive experience in the sports advertising world. My first sports advertising experience was with the Warriors back in around 2011, 2012. And this was when Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry were not yet the iconic household names that they became. We got to be a part of the Golden State Warriors' rise. And that was so much fun because the access we had to those players year in, year out was unparalleled to anything I had afterward in my career. We actually got to know these guys. We were creating campaigns for them every single year. And that went from TV to social to radio to in-game. And we really got to be a part of the organization and learn how teams work and also learn how to work with these players. And based upon that, I got recruited to Wieden+Kennedy to work on Nike, which, like any sports fan or any advertising fan, it is the dream brand to work on. And that was the opposite end of the spectrum, where in the world of Golden State Warriors, we were running gun and down and dirty. Nike was about as marquee as it could possibly get. So it was great to have that balance, to get some of the mega stars of the world and do work for people like Tiger Woods, Women's World Cup, Sam Kerr, Lieke Martens, the LeBron James of the world, the Olympics, and to see all the fanfare and stakeholders that come along with that was a whole other challenge and opened up different opportunities. While I was doing that, when a brand like Coke or Samsung were sponsoring athletes or events. I was called in to make the work authentic to sports culture and resonate with fans. And starting around 2002, I began running creative at Wieden+Kennedy for the MLB account. I led their first rebrand in nearly a century with the tagline "Baseball Something Else." And then when I started Good Sports Creative in 2024, they were one of the first clients to start working with us.
That's great.
So that was a long version of number one. Sorry about that. Number two, we're storytellers. And sport really gives you access to storytelling tools that usually are not available in other categories. So you get the full range of human emotion. You get triumph, there's heartbreak, there's passion, and the all-important tension. And you need tension to be compelling. You need tension to be authentic. And it takes courage for a brand to have that tension in their work. But in sports, it's inherent. So you can't do sports work without the tension. And lastly, sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, hey, I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah, go on, please.
And lastly, we're fast. So that doesn't mean that we take any less time in strategic or creative development. In fact, we probably take just as much, if not more time than most agencies. The difference is that we don't have the layers that slow down processes. We don't have the teams of 20 people on calls that'll have to justify their paychecks by weighing in on the work. We only work with experienced senior people who know the sports world inside out and who work directly on your business. We really break down the barriers between client and creative, and we're collaborative. It takes great clients to make great work. Embracing that gets to better work in a quicker fashion. I don't know how many times I've just brought a client in during an edit rather than disappearing for 2 weeks and just being like, hey, come in, tell us what you think. And that speeds up the process and actually gets to a better place so much faster than it would have if we just gatekeeps like agencies typically do.
Yep, I agree. And plus, I come from a similar background. I didn't get to work with the Warriors, but I did get to work at Nike with some pretty high-end athletes. So I know exactly how intense it can be, but also how very cool it can be, and all the cogs that make up the machine that run the sports world. So very cool that you had that background and were able to parlay that into a great indie agency. And speaking of indie agencies, you're indie. What is the main reason that you think that being independent is important?
I think it's relatively simple. We have the freedom to make decisions based solely upon our values.
Right.
We don't have to compromise our principles. I can elaborate on that for days, but if you cut to the chase, that's it. We don't have to compromise.
Yeah. And is it important to your clients that you're independent? And if so, what reason do they give for that?
I think it's something that they absolutely feel. And probably the most obvious way they feel it is that we don't force clients to conform to our processes. We're flexible. We'll work with a range of scopes, of internal resources, of timelines. We'll customize our team for projects to fit our clients. So our clients never really have to pay or deal with the things that they don't need. Now, of course, that comes from us being on the smaller end and being nimble, but it also allows us to be flexible and move quickly and work in ways that we don't have to get approved by some higher up four levels up.
Right. And also, I mean, you're working with the brands directly. They have direct access to the C-suite of your agency, essentially, you and the others that make up your team. So, what advantage does that give you, over maybe some one of the larger shops?
Well, go back to speed, where we don't actually bring on junior level creatives. We are an agency of senior level doers. There are people who have worked in this industry for many years and have worked their way up the chain to be ECD or
Mhm.
a managing director or a CEO. And there are several people who are amazing at doing that and leading large companies. We only employ people who have that level of experience, but are still the doers. Now, that's not to say that by no means can a handful of people handle all projects, but the people you are working with are the ones who have the experience to both lead a bigger agency, but also know the work and create the work with their own hands. We have an infrastructure that allows people to do their best work on the back end. We have project managers and operations directors and incredible producers and finance people and designers. But the core strengths of our strategic directors and our creative directors are able to let them do what they do best. We truly believe in giving great people autonomy to do what they have trained their entire career to do.
Yeah. That kind of gets into my next question, which is about talent. So, obviously, you're dealing with a senior level talent. Why, if somebody's looking to, jump ship from somewhere else, why should they put you on their list for, agencies to try to get in at?
you know, we get a lot of requests to work with us. I think my intuition tells me that is mostly around the fact that we're about sports and so many people are inspired by sports.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. If you love sports, the second one is if you love telling stories. Go back to all the tools that are opened up by the world of sports in order to create great storytelling. Um, we need people who have a body of work that showcases both of those attributes at the highest level. Lastly, if you love having the autonomy to do what you do best without all the inefficiencies of traditional agencies, then you may want to work here.
Yeah. So how do you get the most out of that talent? Obviously, you're bringing on people that already, have that level. They don't need that extreme mentorship like some junior talent. So how do you get the most out of the people that are there?
Um, I believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. So, one is that there is a barometer of work in this agency that everyone has to aspire to. So, I am there. Really, my sole function is to make sure that everything meets that barometer. But beyond that, when I am not personally doing the work, I truly believe that when you look at someone's portfolio, especially someone who's been doing it for a while, they have a track record. You know where they can get to. There is this something I've learned um, as I have become a businessman and graduated from just being a creative director, and it's hire slow. Um,
Yeah.
And so much of ensuring that you're going to get the best creative work comes in being very slow and meticulous with who you bring on. I mean, ultimately, great creative does not come from conglomerates, groups of people. We
Right.
still need individuals with just wild inspiration. And yes, you put them in groups to make that magic happen, but you need people who know how to conjure the idea that is out there in the ether, waiting to be grabbed, but just not everyone has the ability to grab it. If you see someone has grabbed that many times in their career, they will do it again if you create the fertile ground for them to do what they do best. So it really comes down to, one, a standard of work, and two, only bring in people who have done it the best. Now, you might ask, like, how do you nurture talent from the ground up? And we don't.
Right. Right.
If you haven't done it before, you're not going to learn here.
Yeah.
At least not for the next couple years. We really have people who are seasoned, who are doing it at the highest level.
Right. I totally get it. All right, now a little bit of fun. Not that we haven't been having fun, but hey, it's the block we call Weirdos, Misfits, or Underdogs. Do you consider yourself one of those three, or perhaps maybe a combination?
I believe that anyone who came up in the creative end of the advertising world is a weirdo in some capacity. You have to be. I think good sports, we are a subset of that, which you might call the creative jock. It's the person who probably loved playing some sports when they were younger, loved watching sports, but might have been scribbling in their notebook, making cartoons of the other players, or might have been telling stories in the locker room who are maybe a little too weird to make it to the next level, but still loved it. So I am a proud above average athlete. I have never made it beyond that. I never played beyond high school sports, but man, I am inspired. We are inspired by that. So it is people who are maybe a little bit of the outliers in the sports world, the weirdos in the sports world, who have a little bit of nerdy creativity, but also enjoy all of what goes into the athleticism and the competition of that. And it's okay to be competitive. Sometimes I feel like competitiveness gets a bad rap in that there can be an unhealthy form of it.
Right. But I think a good level of competition will keep you honest and keep you working towards good goals.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You said
it. One final thing. Let's call up real quick. You're quickly on the website. Where can people find you?
Goodsportscreative.com. And you can email us at hello@goodsportscreative.com. We're very active on LinkedIn. We're always posting some fun content in addition to our work. So follow us there as well, Good Sports Creative. And we would love to talk to anyone.
Excellent. All right. One last thing. You can this is your chance to shout out any CMO, marketer, either someone you might want to work with or somebody you just want to give a good shout out to. Now's your chance.
Yeah, great question. Lately, I have been fascinated with Dick's Sporting Goods, and Emily Silver is the CMO over there, and she has been doing a great job. Dick's Sporting Goods is going through some incredible growth, and that stems from the fact that I am a parent of twin 8-year-old boys. I'm on the board of our local little league. I coach basketball and tennis. Youth sports is a huge part of my life, and I just love what is happening with that brand. Those stores really are true community destinations. I love the values that they put out, and I think there's endless stories to tell around youth sports, inspirational stories, funny stories, and I'd love for Good Sports to help Dick's Sporting Goods tell those stories.
You heard it here. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Josh, and Good Sports Creative. Really wish all the best for you. And if you want to work with them, you know how to get in touch with them now. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of Indie Agency News, and we'll see more great things out of you.
Hey, thank you, Kyle. Good to
Thanks a lot, Josh. Appreciate it.